Hello folks, welcome back to the Edupedia world and I am Abhinay Gupta. So today again we'll be continuing with the winding up of the companies, right? Referring to the provisions of the Companies Act 1956. Okay with that? So in the previous lecture I've already told you that today we will be discussing about the restoration of the name of the company, right? So before going to this topic, right, I'll again give you a gist of what we have covered long ago in one of the lectures. You remember when we were discussing about the winding up of the company, where we talked about the liquidation after winding up? There, if you remember, we said that if any one of the contributory or the creditor or anybody who was not satisfied, or even the liquidator, when he thinks that okay, that there are some more assets that he can realize, right, they can file a petition to the court to cancel the order of winding up, right? And when the court files another order or makes another order to cancel the order of winding up, the order of dissolution stands void, right? But that petition could be filed within the next 2 years, right? Although the order could be made afterwards. If you remember, I read out the content of the act, the Bear Act, right? And we interpreted it two ways. One was that within 2 years, even the court's order had to be delivered. Other is that okay, only the petition had to be filed within 2 years, the order could be delivered after that. And we consider the second one to be more appropriate, right? And we discussed about the rationale behind it. Why do we consider the second one to be more appropriate? So over there, if you remember, the dissolution order could be considered to be void and the company's name could be restored over there as well, right? But the period to be considered for that purpose within that dissolution procedure was just 2 years, right? But now we are talking about the restoration of the name of the company with reference to section 560, right? So this is the continuation of the defunct company section 560 that we were discussing about, right? So understand the difference, that over here we are not talking about the restoration of the name of the company on the whole. Right? Any procedure, the company is dissolved today and we want to restore the name. No, we are not talking about those procedures. Over here we are specifically dealing with a situation where the name of the company had been struck off by the registrar, and that name that had been struck off and then deemed to be dissolved can be restored. And over here the period for restoration is extended up to 20 long years, right? That means an application could be made to the court within 20 years after the registrar had struck off the name of the company. That's huge period, right? So basically what we understand is, why is that application being made? That application is not being made to restore the company on the whole. Understand, it is not the procedure where the court had made an order of dissolution and then we want to make that order void, right? Please consider that order void and restore the company, let the company be in operation again. Over here what had happened is that the registrar had struck off the name of the company in the register of companies. So when we talk about restoration of the name of the company, we are talking about restoring that name into that register back, that is, there is this company with this name, right? And for this, the time limit that has been given for making that application is 20 years from the date when the registrar had struck off the name and published the notice in the official gazette. From the date of that publication, right, when it was published in the official gazette that the company's name has been struck off, and then from that day we considered the company to have been dissolved, that was deemed dissolution, right? So from that day, 20 years hence, anybody can file an application to the court that we want the name of the company to be restored, right? And who is that anyone who can file that petition to the court? It is either the company itself, or the members of the company, or the creditors of the company. Again, if I reflect to you the difference, then over here we are not allowing the liquidator to file this petition. Why? Because unlike the dissolution by the court, right, over here the liquidator did not complete its procedures, or maybe there was a situation that the liquidator was not appointed at all, right? That is in the second situation. And the first situation, there was no liquidator, the company went defunctional, no winding up procedure was conducted, nothing had happened. Remember, if you go back to the previous two lectures, Then over there we discussed that there were two cases. One is the company has stopped operation, become defunctional, and the registrar wants to strike off the name. The other is that the company had started to wind up operations, to wind up the assets and pay off the liabilities and everything, but that winding up did not continue. Right? So in the second case also there was a liquidator, but the liquidator did not conclude its task, and hence even in the second situation the liquidator is not given the power to file the petition to the court to restore the name of the company. Right? So it's only three people who has been given that power, that is the company, the member, and the creditor. And the reason why I'm laying the stress on this is most of you would have attempted this mistake if you get a question on this. Because in common parlance, throughout the chapter we have seen whatever power has been given, it has been given to the liquidator, to the creditor, to the members, to the contributories, to the registrar, everybody. Right? But you understand that in this scenario we cannot have liquidator. And why we cannot have liquidator? So that whenever this topic strikes your mind, you know that okay, only the power vests with the members, the creditors, and the company, no one else. We don't even have contributories because we did not have any winding up. Right? No liquidator, no contributory. And why will the registrar file a petition when he had himself struck off the name? That's only about the company, the members, and the creditors. Clear with that? Now understand, okay, the petition has been filed within the period of 20 years, valid. By the members, valid. Now why do you think will the court order the restoration of the name? Earlier, when the registrar was requesting you through that letter of inquiry, registered letter, and the notice and everything, you did not turn up. Right? You did not turn up, you did not respond to the registrar. That is why the registrar had struck off your name. And today you come and you expect that the court would turn up. Why? If you want the court to turn up and restore your name, you will have to prove to the court that that was not your fault. Right? You continued with the operation, but there was some trouble that maybe you did not receive the letters, maybe you could not respond back in time, maybe there was a temporary halt in the procedures, there was any misfortune that had hit the company. There can be any reason, right? You will have to prove the court that we did not do it intentionally and we did not wind up the company. We did not permanently put a break on our operations. No, it was a temporary suspension. Why? Because there was some unforeseen circumstance that occurred and we could not manage it, we could not handle it. Right? Maybe there was financial crisis, maybe there was market disruption, whatever could be the case. So we could not handle that situation, and hence we had to put a halt on our operation for some period, for a short period, maybe 1-2 months, maybe 5-6 months, maybe 1 year, 2 years, whatever be the same. And so during that period, we were involved somewhere else and we did not pay attention to the letter or the notice. And then the registrar struck off the name. And then we later on came to know that our name is not available in the register of the member when we started with the proceeding. But since we have started with our operations are still in process, we are manufacturing things or we are still providing services, but we are not able to deal with the clients. Why? Because our name has been struck off. So please, this is a petition to you, restore our name so that we can be back into operation. And again, as we have been discussing since the beginning of the lectures, that the court never wants the company to move out. So always remember that in these kind of situations where you are talking about any procedure whereby the company would be helped, the court or the registrar would always want to step forward. Right? Keep that bent of mind that they don't want the company to be dissolved. They want it to be existing because there are a lot of things attached to that company, a lot of employees, a lot of livelihood, that market. There's a lot of things, right, that has been attached to that company. And so the company says, okay, even if you're not making profit, come on, at least you're giving livelihood to 100 people. Continue. That is the intention behind, right? So over here also, if they know that, okay, the operations are back, the operations are still continuing, they're manufacturing things, they're providing services, they're doing whatever they were doing, right? Employees are also back, the directors are there, everything is functioning. Why do I cause a pain over there? The court says, okay, I may restore your name. It is within 20 years. That is why you have been given the time of 20 long years. Understand that. 20 long years, it is not a small term. That is because they say that even if in 20 years somebody wants to come back, somebody wants to restore, we'll give them the opportunity to restore. Right? Because if somebody is restoring their company, they are still at a better position than the people who are incorporating the company. Instead of incorporating a new company, it is better if you restore the old company. It has goodwill, it has market, it has a lot of documents that have been submitted, a lot of filings that have already been done. There is no cumbersome task for that. There's a lot of things lying behind, right? But that is not the main discussion for us. I'm just giving you the gist so that you understand the entire screenplay over here, right? All you know is that the court can restore the name if it is satisfied, right? Satisfied that the company was at the time of striking of the name carrying on the business and its operation, but there was some misfortune that was attached to it, due to which they could not communicate with the registrar in the due course, and hence the registrar did strike off the name. So we'll not say that it was the fault of the registrar, right? There was some unforeseen circumstance like that, some circumstance that had been created due to which the registrar was compelled to take that action, but that action was not in the favor of the company, and that was not a rational action. Maybe it was rational on the basis of the fact from the point of view of the registrar, right? But that was not correct in its cognate sense. Understood? Or otherwise also, if there is any other situation, this section, right, it is playing safe. It is leaving on an open ground that if there is any just and equitable cause to restore the name, please restore. So when it says any just and equitable cause, it encompasses everything around. Whatever cause you bring, we can prove it to be just and equitable, and the name can be restored. So instead of giving bullet points of this situation, they have made it general. One is that, okay, you are continuing and there was misfortune attached, and the other is just an equitable ground. That means all of the rest. Right? Then when the court is satisfied and the court orders for restoration of the name, then the court may give necessary direction to place the company at the same old position that it had in the market when the name of the company was struck off the register. Right? So court will come up with certain directions, certain procedures, certain provisions that, okay, we will do this, we will do that, this is to be reversed, that has to be adjusted, whatever, right? It is case specific. Whatever the court thinks that yes, this action or this provision would be helpful for placing the company and all the other person also who were involved with the company at the same position. If it is not practically possible to put them back in the same position, at least as nearly as may be, as if the company's name was never struck off. So we do not want any hindrance in the procedure. Don't always think it is 20 years. Maybe in the next 1 year they came back. Right? So that gap, right? They don't want the market to be affected with that gap. Because once the market starts thinking that the company is out of the market, they lose their faith in the company. So when the court is restoring the name of the company, the court will try to make all genuine efforts to put that company back into its old position. Into its old position does not mean where it was located, the registered office. No, the building is still there. Position means we're talking about the position in the market, the position among the competitors, the position among that streamline of the product that they're dealing in, the position with the creditors, the position with the liability holders, the provision with the contributories, the provision with the providers of finance, everybody. Right? All the cases or the proceedings that had been conducted in between also, they need to be resolved so that the company is back to the old position and people have their faith in the company. Right? So the court, depending upon the case, would issue such directions and provisions that would help the company to gain back that position. Right? Because if the registrar had struck off the name, try and understand, if the registrar had struck off the name and that was not correct, which means that the company was operating, but still the registrar struck off the name because of the procedure that the registrar followed and the conclusion that the registrar drew from that procedure was to strike off the name, although that was not correct, because that procedure is not cognate. The procedure is not a very tough procedure that would encompass everything and check everything. No, it was just a mere notice that has been given. No response means strike off the name. There can be any reason for no response. Right? That is why the court says, or the attempt over here is that if the registrar had struck off the name which was not valid, then we do not want the company to be affected with that. Hence, they're making all good efforts to restore the name and restore the position back for the company in the market. Right? And do you think that once the court has given the order, everything is back? No. Once the court has given the order in its hearing, right? Order. This is the conclusion of the case. That has been done. Now the court will also give you a written order, a certified copy of the order. That certified copy of the order has to be sent to the registrar. That, look, registrar, the court says, please restore my name. Open that register, rub it off where you have struck off my name, and restore my name in that place. See, there's a list of other provisions also that the court has followed, that the court has asked us and you to follow, so that we are back to the position. Right? Please don't make certain mistakes again in future that hampers us. Please go ahead and restore our name. That is what you need to do. You will have to go to the registrar with that certificate, that order. Because unless and until the registrar receives it and registrar restores your name, nothing happens. What will you do with the order of the court? Your name has to be restored back in the register. And that will only be done when you have forwarded that copy of order from the court to the registrar, and the registrar, having received that copy, restores your name. Right? That is only situation where the restoration becomes effective. So if you read the tab over there, restoration is effective when the order is filed with the registrar. Right? So what will be the effect of a restoration? The effect is that the company will regain its position in the market. And that company will be deemed to have continued without any break. Right? We'll consider that the striking off of the name, that action had never taken place, and the company continued smoothly. Right? So the company has been in existence as if the name had never been struck off. Because that is the attempt of the court, right? He has also ordered certain other provisions that would help the company to restore or to regain the original position in the market. And that is not only about the company. It is about the company, its creditors, the debtors, all the members or the providers of finance, all the people who are related to the company. Right? The court wants them to go back to the position in which they were before the name had been struck off. Right? So that they continue their procedures, their dealings, their activities without any hindrance. Right? Because striking off the name, if you come to know that yes, you are holding shares in some company, or you are the creditor to some company and the name has been struck off, you will panic. If it's a huge amount, you start panicking. Oh my god, the company is dissolved already. Where is my money? Where has it gone? And then you start running to the court, filing petitions. No, I want my money back. I want the company to be wound up legally and then regain my money. I'm in the order of priority. Sell off the assets, give me my money. That is where you will be running, because your money is at stake. So before certain situations arise, what the court attempts is that okay, we'll refer it back to the same position, so that you are satisfied that okay, that was a mistake, and the company, there was no fault at the end of the company. The company is still continuing, and you can still trust the company the same level that you used to do. Right? So for that, the court will take necessary steps to see that that particular position of the company before the name was struck off has been restored with the company. Right? So with that, our small topic of the restoration of the name of the company comes to an end. And in the next lecture, we would start with the discussion on the contributories. Then we also have the order of preference for priority of payment, the overriding preferential payment, the preferential payment and stuff. Those are important topics because you have questions from there in your examination. Right? You have had a lot of questions from the defunct company as well. But yeah, to be very specific with this small topic of restoration, you did not have any questions so far in your examinations. But defunct company section 560 had been asked in your examination, and there has been a reference to the restoration of the name. But there has been no direct question to the restoration of the name. Right? But contributory, my dear friend, is one of the most important topics from this chapter. Right? You have been asked questions back from 1994 to 2011, 12, 13. You have been continuously been asked questions on this topic. So contributory is going to be a very important topic. Please do not miss that lecture. Right? Come back for that. That is the just next lecture for this. Right? So until that lecture, this is Abhinay Gupta signing off. Please stay tuned, stay updated, follow the videos, post your comments in case of any query, like the hit button if you do it, and help the other students to know that the video is good for you. Right? So until then, this is Abhinay Gupta signing off. Thank you and bye bye.